The moment I saw the second phone, I knew my marriage was about to end, even before I unlocked it. For 12 years, I thought my wife and I had built something solid. We had our arguments, sure, but who didn't? We had a kid, a mortgage, and matching bikes hanging in the garage we barely used. From the outside, we looked like a normal, middle-class family in Kelowna. Maybe even boring. I was okay with boring. But one Wednesday evening in late March, I went looking through Danielle's gym bag because her phone charger wasn't in the drawer where it usually was. She'd gone to grab groceries with Jenna, and I figured I'd plug her phone in while she was out. She was always leaving it near the edge of dead battery. Instead, I found something that didn't belong. A phone I'd never seen before. It was tucked into the side mesh pouch, just under her water bottle and a rolled-up microfiber towel. A black iPhone, older model, no case. I remember staring at it for a good 10 seconds before picking it up. At first, I assumed it was Jenna's, or maybe Danielle had found it at the gym and forgot to turn it in. But it had 62% battery, and when I tapped the screen, it opened without a passcode. The wallpaper was a photo. Not of us. Not of Jenna. Not even something generic like mountains or puppies. It was of a man, smiling, shirtless, tanned. And Danielle was in the photo, too, kissing his cheek. The floor dropped out from under me. I sat on the edge of our bed, holding the phone like it might burn me, like maybe it wasn't real. A million things raced through my head. Was I misunderstanding something? Maybe it was an old photo. Maybe it was some sort of inside joke. But then I did what I promised myself I'd never do in a relationship. I started going through it. I tapped into the Messages app first. The contact name said G, but the chat history was enough. Photos, voice notes, hotel reservations, a selfie of Danielle in a mirror I didn't recognize, wearing lingerie I'd never seen before. My mouth went dry. My pulse was hammering in my ears. I closed the app and opened notes. There was a list titled Excuses. Beneath it were bullets. Yoga retreat. Use Rachel as alibi. Work meeting in Vancouver. Book Airbnb in Penticton instead. Drinks with clients. Text home early. Every entry was a lie. Every note was a breadcrumb I'd never noticed until now. The back of my neck was hot. I stood up, started pacing, then sat back down. This wasn't just a fling. This was organized. Ongoing. She had a second life built into our real one, like a hidden trapdoor in the floor I'd walked over every day. I opened the Photos app. There were over 300 pictures. Some were of sunsets, motel signs, takeout containers, but most were of the same guy. I didn't recognize him, but he looked smug. A real estate type. Someone used to being photographed. There were videos, too. I didn't open them. I couldn't. Instead, I backed out and looked at the iCloud settings. The phone was signed into a separate Apple ID, not Danielle's, but the email had her maiden name in it. She'd planned this. I took a breath and grabbed a USB stick from my desk drawer. It was the same one I used for engineering files I brought home from work. I connected the phone to my laptop, dumped every message thread, photo, and note I could find. Everything. When the download finished, I disconnected the phone and put it back exactly where I found it. I didn't want her to know I'd seen it. Not yet. I needed time. Not to forgive her. I didn't think that was on the table. I needed time to think. That night, I barely spoke when Danielle came home. She didn't notice. Jenna was talking about some science project with erupting baking soda volcanoes, and Danielle was laughing along, hugging her, smiling like the same woman I married. I looked at her and tried to find a stranger. All I could think about was how easily she moved between roles. Wife, mother, liar. I slept on the couch, told her my back was bothering me. She kissed my forehead. "Love you," she whispered, already halfway up the stairs. The next morning, I dropped Jenna off at school and then called Tyler. He picked up on the third ring. "Yo, haven't heard from you in a bit. Everything okay?" "No," I said quietly. "I need you to help me with something, and it's bad." He didn't ask questions at first. He just listened while I told him about the phone, about the photos, about the fake email address. Tyler had always been more of a brother to me than my actual one. "Okay," he said after a moment. "First thing, we need to make sure she doesn't know you've seen it. You can't tip her off." "She doesn't know. I put it back exactly where I found it." "Good. Second thing, we get more. You have a backup, right?" "Yeah, everything. Messages, photos, timestamps." "Good man." The rest of the day blurred. At work, I stared at spreadsheets I couldn't comprehend. I messed up a torque calculation so badly, my manager asked if I was okay. I told him I had a headache. It wasn't a lie. That evening, Danielle said she was heading to Rachel's for a last-minute yoga class. I told her to enjoy herself. She smiled and kissed me again. When she left, I sat down at the kitchen table with my laptop and the USB stick. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just started organizing everything. Photos into folders, text messages into PDFs, dates, times, hotel names, phone numbers. And then I found it, his name. One of the messages said, Gavin said he might be able to swing Thursday night again. Same motel, same room. A follow-up, I'll tell Mark I'm going to that marketing dinner in Vernon. There it was, Gavin. I copied the number from the contact info and ran it through Google. Gavin Petrescu, real estate broker, based in Penticton, married, 2 kids. Company website listed his wife as co-owner. I stared at his face on the screen, the same face from the wallpaper photo. A real person, a real threat. I wanted to smash something. Instead, I opened a Word doc and typed 3 words. She picked him. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay on the couch, staring at the ceiling, while Danielle slept upstairs in our bed. The same bed where we made Jenna. The same bed where she held me during my dad's funeral. The same bed she left cold for hotel sheets and someone else's hands. When the sun started to rise, I sat up slowly. I knew this wasn't just about cheating. This was about a system of lies built brick by brick, and I had no idea how far down it went yet, but I was going to find out. I owed that to myself. I owed it to Jenna. The morning after I found the second phone, I dropped Jenna off at school just like usual. She was in the backseat humming some tune from her iPad, swinging her legs. I nodded along and forced a smile at every silly thing she said. I wanted to ask her if she ever saw a man around Mommy's work meetings. I wanted to ask if she had ever noticed anything, but she was 10. I couldn't drag her into that. Not yet. When I got back into the car, I didn't turn on the engine right away. I sat in the school parking lot, staring at the dashboard, my hands still on the wheel. I was trying to feel something besides dread. Tyler called me later that afternoon. Got your message? You free to talk? Yeah. Can you talk now? Always, he said. I've been thinking, if you're serious about getting ahead of this, we should start pulling her digital trail. I hesitated. I already feel like a creep. I don't know how people do this without losing their minds. You're not a creep, man. You're a husband who's being played. There's a difference. I sighed. So what do we do? Step 1, email accounts. If she created a second Apple ID, she probably has an email attached to it. You said it had her maiden name? Yeah. First name, last name 1986 at something.com. 1986, that's her birth year, right? Yeah. She's not even trying, Tyler muttered. All right. Forward it to me. I'll run it through some data breach sites, social media searches, maybe reverse lookup tools. It might show us where else she used that account. Over the next few days, I acted normal. I still made dinner. Still picked Jenna up from her dance class. Still folded laundry next to Danielle on the couch while she scrolled through Instagram, on her main phone, of course. She was good. Really good. She told me I looked tired, kissed my temple, and asked if I needed a weekend to myself to go hiking or something. I told her maybe. Friday afternoon, Tyler called me again. Mark, you're going to want to sit down. I'm already sitting. So that email, it's tied to a burner Airbnb account. I pulled 3 confirmed bookings over the last year. 2 in Vernon, 1 in Penticton. All on nights you told me she claimed to be out for work. I rubbed my eyes. Can you prove it's her? Same phone number as the second phone, and one of the reviews even mentions a Danielle by name, 5 stars. Quiet guest, clean, respectful. I laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was absurd. Found some food delivery receipts too, he added. DoorDash. 2 entrees. A bottle of wine. Name on the order, G. Petrescu. That night, Danielle said she was going to Rachel's place for a yoga retreat. Just one night, she told me. I'll be back tomorrow after brunch. I looked at her for a second longer than I meant to. She tilted her head. What? Nothing. Just thinking how long it's been since we did something together. Her smile faltered, then came back. We'll plan something. Just us, I promise. She left with a yoga mat and her gym bag, the same one that used to hide the second phone. She didn't know I had moved the phone that morning. It was in a shoebox in the garage now. Disconnected. I watched her pull out of the driveway and disappear into the dusk. I called Tyler again. She's gone. All right, he said. Want me to drive up? I don't know. I still don't know what I'm doing. You're gathering the truth. That's what you're doing. I leaned on the kitchen counter and stared at a half-finished art project Jenna left out, glitter and glue everywhere. Do you ever think, I said, that some people just get tired of their own lives and build new ones on the side? Yeah, Tyler said, but it's one thing to build a new life. It's another to burn the old one down with everyone still in it. At 11:03 p.m., I got a text from an unknown number. Hi, my name is Claudia Petrescu. I believe our spouses are having an affair. Can we talk? My chest tightened. I stared at the screen like it was written in another language. I read it 3 times before I replied. Yes. How did you get my number? She responded almost instantly. I saw it on a phone bill. Gavin's. He left it out. I recognize your area code. I've had my suspicions for months, but this confirms it. What makes you so sure? They've met at least 3 times in Penticton. Once in Kelowna. I have emails. I can send them to you. Please do. She sent them. Screenshots. Subject lines like, can't stop thinking about last night. Next time your place. Tell him you're working late again. One even had Danielle's email signature. Her real one. There was no denying it now. The next morning, I met Claudia at a public park near a dog run. Neutral ground. She was tall, looked tired, and wore sunglasses even though it was cloudy. She held a folder in her hand. Mark? She asked. I nodded. Claudia? She gave a bitter little smile. This feels like a spy movie. We sat at a picnic table. She opened the folder and pulled out more printouts. Text threads. Hotel receipts. Flight confirmations. A credit card statement with a shared tab at a wine bar Danielle and I had never visited. I confronted Gavin once, she said quietly. Back in December. He told me it was just flirting, that it never got physical. I nodded. Danielle's been careful, but not careful enough. I'm sorry, she said. You didn't deserve this. Neither did she. That much was clear. We exchanged contact info. Before she left, she said something that stuck with me. He thinks he's still in control of this. He thinks she'll never walk away from him. I wonder if she's telling him the same thing. That night, Danielle came home acting like she just returned from a spiritual retreat. Hair tied back, skin flushed, smiling like she'd found peace. Was Jenna okay? She's with my mom tonight. I dropped her off after ballet. Oh, good, she said. How was your night? Quiet, I said. I didn't mention the park, or Claudia, or the folder. Instead, I watched Danielle go upstairs to unpack. She was humming. I spent the next 3 days planning. Tyler helped me scan everything. Claudia's documents, the files from the second phone, my own notes. We even ran a search on Gavin's real estate firm. He'd recently bought a small condo in Kelowna. Paid cash. Think she helped with the down payment? Tyler asked. I wouldn't be surprised. Then you should check your bank records. Joint accounts. Credit cards. I did. That's when I found the transfers. Small but regular. $200 here. $300 there. Labeled as business expenses or event fees. She was siphoning money. I started keeping a separate journal. Paper, not digital. Just in case. One page said, Day 1, I know she's cheating. I know who it is. I know she's lying to my face every day. Another page said, Day 3, I'm not going to confront her until I have everything lined up. She's too good at spinning stories. By day 5, I had a file folder filled with printouts, screenshots, timestamps, and email threads. Tyler burned a backup to an encrypted USB and gave it to me. If you go to a lawyer, he said, this needs to be the first thing you hand them. The breaking point came 2 days later. Danielle came home with a new necklace, said it was a gift from Rachel, who just got promoted. I recognized the brand. It matched the one from one of the wine bar receipts. I didn't say anything, just nodded, but something in me snapped. I couldn't take the pretending anymore. She went to the kitchen to pour wine. I stayed seated on the couch, folder on my lap. When she came back, I looked her straight in the eyes. Who is Gavin? Her face froze. She didn't speak right away. She looked down at the glass, then back up at me. I don't know what you mean, she said too calmly. I opened the folder and held up the first photo, the one of them on the motel bed. I didn't have to say anything else. Danielle didn't speak for a full minute, just stared at the photo like she couldn't figure out how it had made its way into my hands. Her mouth opened and closed once. then again. Finally, she said, "Where did you get that?" I didn't answer. I flipped the page. The motel receipt, the text thread with Gavin's name, the email confirmation for their Airbnb in Penticton. Her hand went to her chest like she'd been punched. I said nothing. I just watched her unravel. She sat down across from me, wine glass untouched. "You went through my stuff?" "You had a second phone," I said calmly. "You left it in your gym bag. You wanted me to find it, or you got sloppy. Either way, I saw everything." Mark, it's not what it looks like." I laughed. Loudly. She flinched. "Don't insult me," I said. Danielle looked panicked now. Okay. Yes, we were seeing each other, but it's over." "Since when?" "A few weeks ago." "Which trip was that? Vernon or Kelowna?" I asked, because I have receipts for both. Her face drained of color. "I didn't mean for it to get serious," she said, suddenly quieter. I raised an eyebrow. "You made a list of excuses. You kept a second email, a burner Apple ID. You created a system, Danielle." She covered her face with her hands. "I know. And you moved money from our joint account. I was going to put it back." "Don't," I said sharply. "Don't lie again. Just stop." She lowered her hands. Her voice was shaky now. "I felt invisible. You were always working or tired or somewhere in your head. Gavin made me feel noticed." I stood up. "So you blew up your marriage because you wanted compliments?" She didn't answer. I didn't sleep at all that night. Neither did she. She stayed in the guest room. I stayed on the couch. When Jenna came home the next morning, Danielle acted like everything was fine. I played along, but I couldn't look her in the eye. That night, after Jenna went to bed, I opened the bank app and quietly transferred half of our joint savings into a new account with just my name on it. Tyler had warned me, "You need to protect yourself before you say the word divorce." I wasn't sure if I was there yet, but I knew things couldn't go back. Monday morning, I called a lawyer. Her name was Susan Weller. Local, direct, no sugarcoating. I booked a consultation and told her everything. She didn't flinch. "How old is your daughter?" 10. Custody is going to be the biggest fight. Infidelity doesn't count for much in court unless you can prove it affected the child. I don't want to drag Jenna through this. Then we document everything. "Did you take screenshots?" I slid the USB across her desk. She plugged it into her laptop, clicked through the folders, nodded. "You've been thorough. I'm an engineer." "Good. That'll help. Judges like receipts." Back home, Danielle avoided me. She knew I'd spoken to a lawyer. I'd told her straight out, "I'm not filing. Not yet. But I need to understand my options." Her eyes brimmed with tears. "Are we really doing this?" "You did this," I said. That night, she left the house, said she needed space. She didn't come home until after midnight. I didn't ask where she went. I didn't want to know. The next few days were tense. We passed each other like co-workers in a shared office. Cordial, distant, careful not to say the wrong thing around Jenna. She stopped pretending. No more excuses. No more yoga retreats or late client meetings. I could tell she was unraveling inside, but I didn't care. I was tired. On Thursday, Claudia messaged me again. I told Gavin I want a separation. He cried, begged, said he chose me. He said that to Danielle too, I replied. They always want both lives, until they lose both. We exchanged a few more lines, mostly practical things. Lawyer contacts, tax filing tips, custody lawyers in BC. But at the end of the chat, she sent something unexpected. "You're doing better than you think. You haven't lost who you are." I stared at that message longer than I should have. Friday morning, Danielle asked if we could talk. Really talk. We sat at the dining table. Same place I'd found out everything. She didn't wear makeup. Her eyes were puffy. She looked small in her hoodie. "I'm sorry," she said. "I know. I don't expect you to forgive me. I'm not there yet. I still love you." That hurt more than I expected. "Do you love him?" She hesitated. "Not anymore." "That's not an answer." She didn't reply. I told her I wanted space, a trial separation. She could stay at Rachel's for a while. Jenna would stay with me. I don't want her moving around until we figure things out. Danielle nodded. She didn't fight me. Maybe she knew she'd already lost. Tyler helped me draft a temporary custody plan. Susan reviewed it. I printed it out, had Danielle sign. No lawyers yet, no court, just a written agreement. For now. Jenna didn't understand, not fully. But she didn't ask too many questions. "When's Mommy coming back?" she asked once. "She's staying with a friend for now," I said gently. "Did you guys fight?" "A little." She nodded like that made sense. Kids always know more than you think. A week later, Danielle moved out. She packed quietly, no drama, just boxes, bags, a few clothes. She kissed Jenna goodbye, told her she'd see her soon. She didn't say anything to me. I didn't walk her out. That night, I stood in the hallway outside Jenna's room, listening to her breathe as she slept. The house was quiet. Too quiet. I called Tyler. She's gone. You okay? I don't know. You will be. On Saturday, I took Jenna to Knox Mountain Park. We climbed the lower trails, ate sandwiches on a bench, and watched boats drift across Okanagan Lake. It was peaceful. She rested her head on my shoulder. Can we come back tomorrow? Of course. I looked out at the water, wind cutting across the waves. And for the first time in weeks, I felt something like peace. Not happiness, not closure, but peace. The first week after Danielle moved out felt like walking through fog, the kind that clings to you even when the sun's up. I got Jenna ready for school, packed her lunch, answered her questions as best as I could, but inside, I was still sorting through wreckage. At night, when the house was quiet, I'd sit on the edge of the bed and stare at the spot where Danielle used to sleep. The silence wasn't peaceful. It was loud. But it wasn't empty. Not yet. I thought the hardest part would be the confrontation. Turns out, it's the aftermath. The normal days that follow. Tyler came over one evening with Thai food and a six-pack. You look like crap, he said, dropping the bags on the counter. Thanks. He cracked open a beer and handed it to me. You should talk to someone. A professional. I've got you. I mean someone who gets paid to listen. He wasn't wrong. I hadn't really dealt with any of it yet. I just kept moving. I made an appointment with a counselor the next morning. Jenna started asking more questions too. Why isn't Mommy back yet? She's living somewhere else right now. Are you getting a divorce? I paused. We're figuring things out. She didn't push. She was always more observant than vocal. But her drawing started to change. Less rainbows. More storm clouds. One showed our house split down the middle. At the counselor's suggestion, I put Jenna into therapy too. A child psychologist named Dr. Lavoie. She had soft eyes and a calm voice. And Jenna actually smiled during the first session. Afterward, Jenna climbed into the back seat and asked, "Can we get ice cream?" It was January, but I didn't say no. Danielle and I agreed on a temporary custody schedule. 50-50, week on, week off. On paper, it sounded fair, but handing Jenna over every Sunday evening felt like losing her over and over again. I'd pack her little suitcase, double-check her homework folder, zip up her coat. Then Danielle would show up in her gray SUV, smiling too much, pretending too hard. The first time she came to pick Jenna up, she asked, "How are you holding up?" I shut the door without answering. Claudia and I texted occasionally. Never flirty, never emotional. Just two people processing the same kind of earthquake from opposite ends. She told me Gavin had moved out but was still in denial. He said she wasn't serious about leaving you. She wasn't, I replied. She just didn't expect to get caught. Claudia said she was filing for divorce next month, said the kids were handling it better than expected. I'm trying to keep their world steady, even if mine's upside down. That line stuck with me. I met with Susan again to begin formal divorce proceedings. Danielle hadn't hired a lawyer yet, said she wanted to keep things amicable. I didn't trust that. Not anymore. Susan drew up papers. We documented the affair, the financial discrepancies, and the joint assets. There weren't many fights about the material things. Neither of us were flashy, but custody was still a gray area. I want primary, I told Susan. She looked at me. You willing to fight for it? Yes. You have the evidence, but judges don't like punishing co-parents unless there's real harm. I'm not punishing her. I'm protecting Jenna. I moved out of the house before the divorce was final, sold my half of the equity to Danielle. She used savings and a small inheritance from her dad to cover it. I bought a modest townhouse near Knox Mountain, 2 bedrooms, a small fenced yard, and a view of the lake from the upstairs window. Jenna picked out the paint for her room, light teal with stars on the ceiling. We put up glow-in-the-dark stickers together. She giggled every time I stuck one too low and had to redo it. This is better than Mommy's place, she whispered one night as I tucked her in. I didn't say anything. Danielle tried to rewrite the story. She started showing up to school events early, talking to other moms, laughing loudly. dropping hints about rough patches and private matters. I stayed quiet. Tyler told me people would figure it out eventually. Just keep your head down and be the consistent one. That's what Jenna needs, not a PR campaign. Still, it stung when mutual friends stopped replying to my texts. When people you once had game nights with suddenly don't know how to look you in the eye. Betrayal has ripple effects, not just romantic ones. Months passed. The snow melted. Jenna turned 11. I bought her a new bike, and we spent an afternoon riding along the lakeside trail. She asked if she could decorate the handlebars with ribbons. I said yes. She asked if Mommy could come to her birthday party. I hesitated. Sure, I said, if you want her there. Danielle showed up with a gift bag and a practiced smile. She brought her famous lemon cupcakes, and even my mom said they tasted just like always. But when the party was over and Jenna was asleep, I opened the garbage and tossed the leftovers. One night, Jenna crawled into my bed after a bad dream. I let her stay. She curled into my side and whispered, "I don't want you to be sad anymore." I swallowed the lump in my throat. "I'm okay. Do you think Mommy misses us?" I didn't answer right away, just stared at the ceiling fan turning above us. "She probably does," I said, in her own way. "But not enough to come home?" "No," I said quietly. "Not enough." Jenna nodded and closed her eyes. Her breathing slowed, and I listened to it until I fell asleep too. The divorce finalized 6 months later. No courtroom drama, just signed documents and notarized forms. I got primary custody, Danielle got generous visitation, assets split, accounts closed, life reset. The day I got the final email from Susan, I sat on the back porch with a coffee and stared out at the lake. I didn't feel triumphant or broken. I just felt clear. Tyler came by that weekend. "You should start dating again." I laughed. "Hard pass." "I'm serious." "I'm not. You're allowed to be happy." "I am, just in a different way." He nodded. "You're a good dad." "Trying. You're succeeding." A year later, Jenna and I visited Vancouver for a weekend. Museum trip, hotel pool, pancakes in bed. She held my hand on the ferry ride home. I looked at her and thought, she's okay. Not untouched, but okay. We both are. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, please like, share, and subscribe for more content. If you want to share your stories, please comment below. Additionally, what is your opinion on the poster's decision?